You live in a world filled with influencers. Both on regular mainstream media and on social media, there are people who use the big followings they have in their platforms to influence people. Many times they are paid a lot of money to do this, and sometimes they don't even care about the issue that's coming up. They're simply doing it because they're making money. Sometimes they care, sometimes they don't. I just want to encourage you today to make sure that you pay attention to who you're following. Many times the thinking goes like this: oh, I like so and so says to do this, therefore I'm going to do that. You know, that is a very, very dangerous way to live life. Instead, you ought to get down to the nitty-gritty. You ought to make sure that you do the research. If you're going to vote for a candidate or for something, you ought to at least try to find out something about them. Look at their record in the past. See what it is that they say they stand for. Try to understand the mechanics of a particular situation rather than simply just being a blind follower. I live in San Angelo, Texas, and this is an area where there's lots and lots of sheep and goats. And if you've ever been around anybody moving large numbers of sheep, one of the things they use is something that you call a Judas goat. Now, that's an interesting name, and if you think about it, what this goat does is aptly named. Sometimes they'll take and tie these goats to the fence down an alley at successive intervals. And then as they bring sheep down the alley, sheep tend to bunch up pretty bad. And the purpose of these goats tied down the alley is to influence the sheep. The sheep will look down the alley and say, oh, well, there's another animal down there. There's another goat. It must be safe for me to go down there. So they'll move down to the next goat and then to the next and then to the next to work their way down an alley. Some of the more clever Judas goats actually will lead the sheep. And so they'll get in front of a bunch of sheep and they'll work their way in, like for instance, onto a truck or into the auction ring or at a packing house into the place that the sheep are going to be slaughtered. I think you see where the name Judas goat comes from, because sometimes they lead sheep to the slaughter. And these old clever goats, what they'll do is they'll get out in front of the sheep and they'll just very slowly, very nicely lead them maybe into the ring at the sale barn. And then they'll just turn around and slip right back up the fence, right past all the sheep that are coming in there, and right back out. They're able to then to shut the gate, and that old goat will sit right there and get ready to do it again. They'll do it all day long. And that is an apt description of many times what's happening in our culture. These influencers are really nothing more than Judas goats, simply leading people to the slaughter. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1 says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ." You and I need to be very careful who we follow and who we allow to influence us. And the Apostle Paul, by the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, said, follow me. I'm going to point you in a right direction. But he also said, follow me because I'm following Jesus. Now, there are some people you should allow to influence you in life. These men and women are following Jesus, and they have nothing but good hopes, prayers, and intentions for you. Find these people and let them be examples to you of faith, and learn from them and grow as they are following Jesus. Follow them. And at the same time, you should be influencing others. As you follow Christ, you should be encouraging younger believers, more newer believers than you are, to be influenced by your faith and realize that they are looking to your faith, and therefore people wind up following you. Make sure that you're following Christ so you can lead them in a good direction. God bless you. Have a great day.